We Rad Dads, bringing a soft edge to a hard topic. Positive changes start here. Join us every week as we talk to real people with real stories, from the everyday single parent to family professionals, and find entertainment along the way. Join me, Walter J. Eggers, as I discover and share wisdom. Hello and welcome to We Rad Dads. In today's microsode, I'm going to explore something I like to call Fun Fact Friday. Personally, I love finding out little nuggets of information, and that's why I'm here, is to deliver those to you. Things that have helped me along the way, and things that I believe can help you too. Often these items are things I find in my everyday life. Today I was on the phone with my dad, and we were talking about style, and he brought up someone who had such a unique style that made such an impression on him. That person's name is Robert Weston Smith. Somewhere in the mid-50s, Robert's parents divorced. And let me just delineate that for a moment. In the 1950s, divorce had such a stigma involved that you couldn't imagine the pressures that he, his mother, and his father endured. In an attempt to help keep Robert out of trouble, Robert's father bought him a $75 transoceanic radio. Essentially, it's a shortwave radio receiver. Robert dove into this new craft and discovered that he had a true passion for R&B music and the disc jockeys who played it. Robert followed his passion and graduated from the National Academy of Broadcasting in 1960. His brand new moniker at the station WYOU in Newport News, Virginia was Daddy Jules. When the station format changed to, quote, beautiful music, Smith stuck around and became known as Roger Gordon as his radio personality. In 1962, Smith moved on to a country music station, KCIJ, in Shreveport, Louisiana. During this time, Smith was a normal guy, a family man, and often entertained his two young nephews with shenanigans as he played his favorite character, the Wolfman. In an interesting cultural twist, he added a moniker Jack, as in, hit the road, Jack. Smith became known as Wolfman Jack. Still don't recognize that name? Give me a minute. I'll develop the story. In the mid-60s, stations known as border blasters began appearing all over the United States-Mexico border, which boasted a powerful broadcast signal of 250,000 watts, which was, at the time, 5 times the legal U.S. limit. Smith was quoted as saying, "We had the most powerful signal in North America. Birds dropped dead when they flew too close to the tower. You could listen to the same station from New York to L.A. nonstop. And on clear nights, it would reach as far as Europe and the Soviet Union." Now let's back off this for just a second here and recognize the technology of the day. In 1963, an AM radio station could directly infect Europe and Russia and everything in between. That's an amazing technological advance. In 1965, Smith moved to XREB, the border blaster in Rosarito, Mexico, known as the Mighty 1090. While broadcasting out of Rosarito, Smith solidified his cult figure and began to transform to a mainstream entertainer with the help of Don Kelly, his eventual personal manager. Smith would record programs out of an office in Chula Vista and later on Sunset Boulevard in the Los Angeles area. He would then send the tapes to XREB for airtime. In 1971, the Mexican government decided that its overwhelmingly Roman Catholic population should not have to be subjected to the Pentecostal preachers, which were a main source of revenue for stations like Border Blasters. This took away 80% of XREB's revenue. At that point, Jack moved on to KDAY in Los Angeles. Unfortunately, he took a huge pay cut, but Smith repositioned and repurposed his content for release. He sent it out to radio stations nationwide and created a series of programs, thus inventing rock and roll radio syndication. Wolfman Jack was known nationwide and nearly globally. At his peak, Wolfman Jack was heard on more than 2,000 radios in 53 countries. In the mid-70s, had a cameo in Steven Spielberg's second film, American Graffiti, opposite of Richard Dreyfuss. Anyone who listened to the radio knew Wolfman Jack. It's safe to say that for his time, and even now, Wolfman Jack is a cultural icon and a groundbreaking innovator. You know, I look, as a podcaster, to what he did at that time as essentially the beginnings of what podcasting has become. He creates content, he creates a persona, and he ships it off for distribution. You know, the internet wasn't even a glimmer in anyone's eye at that point. People were more focused on FM radio. But I see what he's done, and it inspires me. I'm going to get to my point right about now. Would Wolfman Jack ever have existed if not for his circumstances? Do you think that it's possible the divorce of Wolfman Jack's parents shaped Wolfman Jack into who he is? Do you think he would have been Robert Weston Smith, day laborer, or corporate blah blah? Now, no offense if you're corporate blah blah, but the point here I'm trying to make is that Smith didn't allow these circumstances to define him. I would reason that because of this strife, because of the strength found through these struggles, Wolfman Jack now lives in the annals of history. I'm a firm believer in channeling your energy in a positive direction, and Wolfman Jack is a direct example of that. But it takes help. It takes more than just having a positive attitude. I think without Wolfman Jack's father there to purchase that first $75 radio, we would never know who the Wolfman was. Alright, well, I hope you enjoyed our Fun Fact Friday. I know I did. I dare you not to compare Macho Man Randy Savage with the style of Wolfman Jack. In fact, I'd love to hear your comments about it. Email me, Walter, at weraddads.com, or hit us on our Facebook group or Twitter account at weraddads. Well, that's it for this episode of We Rad Dads. I sincerely thank you for joining us. Don't forget to look us up on those internets at www.weraddads.com. Got a question or comment? It may be featured. Email me. Thanks again for joining us. And remember, stay up, stay connected, and stay rad, Dad.